Hello, and welcome to Sapphic World, the podcast. This is episode 22. The week is 19th through 26th of January, and I am your host, Dee Perkins. This episode is sponsored by Dyke, a gender-fluid, fashion-forward clothing, accessory, and lifestyle brand. Visit them at dressdyke.com to shop their current Love is Love collection. Follow them on Instagram and Twitter at dressdyke, and members of Sapphic.world get discounts on all dressdyke.com purchases. You can become a member of Sapphic World at Sapphic.world. That's the web address, Sapphic.world. It's free to join. Thank you, Dyke. And remember, you don't have to be a dyke to dress dyke. Visit dressdyke.com today. Lesbian recruiting. As an out lesbian for more than 20 years, I've heard this, I've been accused of this, and usually it's because people refuse to believe people who are gay or bisexual are actually gay or bisexual. Then they refuse to see the two-way street. First of all, men have hit on me and still do to this day, despite me feeling that I look like a dyke. And yes, I throw up in my mouth a little bit each time. But I do appreciate the compliment. I've had men be extremely persistent or make vulgar comments insisting they can do the same things a woman can, blah, blah, blah. What's more annoying than their attention, though, is the fact that they think my sexuality is strictly rooted in oral sex or any other form of sex. I'm attracted to women, to the female body, to feminine energy. All of those elements must be present. It's not a preference. It's who I am. I was born this way. There is no amount of coaxing that could make me want to be intimate with a man. The attraction simply isn't there. No butterflies, no longing, no desire, no thing. Nothing. But if a woman hits on another woman and that woman goes, believe me, she was always going. No one can bring something out of you that isn't there already. Whether it's there in genuine feeling or an insatiable curiosity, the seed must already be there in order for it to be watered. Men and women and non-binary people all have the ability to be persistent in getting what they want. But I assure you, there is no recruiting. There is no secret handshake. There is no playbook. There are no secret meetings. There is only love to be shared, felt, experienced, or ignored. Nothing more. So I found this letter the other day on from a few days ago, this Dear Abby letter on lesbian recruiting. Listen to this shit. Dear Abby, my college-aged granddaughter is no longer speaking to me, answering my phone calls, or allowing her other grandmother, who raised her, to post anything on Facebook where I can see what she is doing. My granddaughter came to live with me last summer because she worked a summer job here. I asked her if she was gay. Not because I think she is, but it's a prelude to a conversation about not allowing other girls to recruit her into a same-sex relationship, as I saw in college and while teaching public school. Although I tried to explain, things have grown progressively worse. My son and her mother married when she was 7 and divorced when she was 13. Over the years, I worked hard to develop and maintain a relationship with her. Now she has told the other grandmother that she will never speak to me again. Was what I did so bad? And what should I do now? Signed, other grandmother in North Carolina. Okay, before I comment, here's Abby's response. Dear Other, what you said wasn't, quote, bad, but it was misinformed and heavy-handed. While same-sex relationships do happen in high school and college, young people don't usually indulge unless they are already at least bi-curious. Even then, straight people don't suddenly, quote, turn gay, end quote. Your daughter may still be trying to figure out her sexual orientation. Your granddaughter may still be trying to figure out her sexual orientation, which could be why she has reacted so strongly. If you are wise, you will allow her the time she needs to sort it out rather than push or panic. That was Abby. Now, what I'm going to say is, that's some bullshit. I am so sick of that lesbian recruiting thing. People always use that as if you can make somebody be someone they are not. In that way. Let me explain. Men hit on me, right? Throughout my life, men have hit on me. Men have tried to tell me, I can eat your pussy, I can do this, I can do that. I can do what she could do. And it's like, it's not about that. That's not who I am. It's not who I am. It's not a preference. It's not a whatever. It's just like, I do not feel shit. I don't have a sexual attraction to you. There's nothing you can say to make me interested, to make me be like, well, let me try. You know what I mean? That has to be in you. You cannot bring some shit out of somebody that is not in them. Okay? And that's all I got to say on that. For now. This episode is a quickie. No guest this week. Just me hitting you with my weekly raw rundown of current events and other Sapphic-centric news. I'm going to kick it off with some entertainment news, then slide into politics, and polish it off with some headline news from around the world. Stay put. So rapper Angel Haze released some new music and visuals. You know, I've personally been a fan of Angel for a really, really long time. She's not new on the scene. And she's definitely slept on. And this video and song to me are both really, really dope. So here it is. The song is called Wait, as in like the measurement. And here's the video. Check it out.
Bitch, you gotta back up off me. Give me 50 feet, get the trap up off me. All y'all niggas give me heebie-jeebies. Got me rolling around the city with the axe and coffin. Like, whoa, gotta back up off me. Got weight, bitch, back up off me. Demons, monsters, bitches, nanas. All y'all niggas better back up off me. Step to the side, I did my time. Y'all just had all of y'all hands on what's mine. Bitch, I rebuke you, devil's a lie. I got the wave, you get washed by the tide. Just got the 9 with that extension. I might just point at your shit for attention. Nigga, it's why you gotta die. I gotta do what it takes to survive. Yeah, ever since I was a little girl, yeah, I knew that I had the potential to be a killer, nigga. What the fuck you thought? Yeah, that part of the story's essential. Don't you make mental? Y'all couldn't take what I've been through. Paid for all incidental. Yeah, silly niggas, you was thinking I was brave, but I saw it. Now y'all gon' wish that I died in a sideboard. Y'all gon' wish you could hide when the lights on. Came back on them with the iron and the whiteboard. Came back for it cause it's mine and it's not yours. Miss me? Aha, I'm in a late. All these labels, all these fables, all these Canaan fucking Ables. All you bottom feeding bitches, stealing scraps from under tables. Really didn't think that I would get it. Thought a little pressure was gonna push me to the limit. Bitch, I died, bitch, I cried. Then I rose up cause the stuff was written. Now I'm dead, any motherfucker feeling brave to make my day. Nigga, just make it cause I got Haitians, Asians, Jamaicans, anxious, shooters, movers, angels, waiting, spirit, power, patience, greatness, point blank, peer, nigga, confirmation. Me and God had a real conversation. He said, get back on the occupation. I went into the lock in a combination. Now I'm telling everybody to dream. Now I'm telling everybody to keep. Now I'm telling everybody to scheme. Y'all niggas about to die cause of me. I'm like, hold up, bitch, you gotta back up off me. Give me 50 feet, get the trap up off me. All y'all niggas give me heebie-jeebies. Got me rolling around the city with the axe and coffin. Like, whoa, gotta back up off me. Got weight, off me. Demons, monsters, bitches, daddies, all y'all niggas better back up off me. To the side, I did my time. Y'all just had all of y'all hands on what's mine. Wish I rebuke you, devil's a lie. I got the wave, you get washed by the tide. Just got the 9 with that extension. I might just point at your shit for attention. Nigga, it's bye, you gotta die. I gotta do what it takes to survive. Wait.
So yeah, that was Angel Haze. I don't know, was that dope? I don't know. I thought it was dope. I love her. She's like just really phenomenal artist, and she also paints and stuff too. So you should check out her artwork. It's equally as incredible. She did the cover art on the for the single and stuff. So if you notice those, or follow her on social media, and you can see some of her paintings that she releases. Anyway, so a quick disclaimer though. So I don't know, or whatever the appropriate term would be here. But an episode or two ago, I mentioned how I liked rapper Chika, right? And I even said she kind of reminded me of a female Biggie Smalls. And I didn't mean her looks, but kind of her flow and her sound, or something. But also kind of her looks, her you could brand her like that. And anyway. But I realized that if you listen on a streaming service, the songs are a bit more commercial and kind of poppy, and which is fine, but not it's just not what I was basing my opinion on. Yeah, so I just felt the need to kind of clear that up. And here's a quick clip of a little freestyle from Funk Flex that I just want to throw out just to kind of justify my position, which it kind of doesn't even justify. I think I may have been a little ambitious in my comparisons and was a little off base. I just you can't hold this against me. And it's nothing against Chika. I think she's dope, but yeah, I don't think I quite meant that. You know what I'm saying? But here's a quick clip just to show she does have bars, and I'm feeling Chika.
Hey, it's Chika, Bama bred, New York fed by way of Westchester County, and I'm here to kill it with Funk Flex. Hot 97.
You know what it is. Funk Flex, of course. I got Chika here, repping Alabama.
True.
Repping Westchester hard. That's my second home, though, because she's not. She's 2 towns from me.
Yeah.
Ardsley. I'm in Ardsley. You're over in
Port Chester.
Oh, my favorite restaurants up there.
What is it?
Edo's.
Okay.
Shout to Edo's. Okay. Funk Flex, Chika, Ciroc Studios. Ernst, what we doing?
Hello, stranger. Yeah, can't shake the feeling, I got eyes on me. I gotta say I'm not surprised, homie. I work my ass off. People nowadays put out the verses they can pass off. Similar to hitting Donald Trump because his ass off. Part in the visual, perfect in the physical. This moment is pivotal. Pause it. I done came a long way from rapping in my closet. Went from being broke to steady stacking up deposits. Take a picture, it'll last long. Probably want a fast song. Like the government just want whatever they can tax on. Got a lot of issues, I just don't know what to act on. Beauty and the Beast and all my haters look like Gaston. Gassed up, done with being passed up. Future looking clearer than Ciroc up in a glass cup. Bullets overrated, come with verses if you act up. I'm not on my high horse, but my carriage jacked up. And my flow impeccable, on point like a decimal. Standing over niggas, I suggest you eat your vegetables. I make killing ethical, coming for the slaughter, cause I am my daddy's daughter. But I flow so hard, they looking for my testicles. I'm reckless, it's every day just like a breakfast. I ain't had time to plan it, I'm ahead of all my checklists. Imagine all my exes, I got one in Texas. She could text me now, I act like I ain't get the message. Sorry, I can't text, miss. I'm busy on flex, miss. Got a flow to make an atheist believe in X, miss. People want a snack, but where this caviar, the checks mix. At these niggas' necks, I wrap around them like a necklace. I had to do it cause my mama watching. I've done a lot of talking, now she see I'm on and popping. Put Alabama on the map, my block is Millie rocking. My state is golden, I'm a warrior like Billy Thompson. Yeah.
They see us, you know what it is. Bars. I mean, we just here, baby. You know what it is.
See, but she dope. She could flow. So I was, like I said, I was a little off base, but no disrespect to Chika, like definitely dope. Got mad skills, but wasn't quite, she's not quite Biggie, but she's definitely dope, and I wish her all the best. Hope to talk to her on the show soon one day. And also just like I need to further validate myself, and just to like cleanse the palate, I'm gonna throw in a couple freestyle bars from Brooklyn's Young M.A. Just to, I gotta give respect back to the big B.I.G. So anyway, yeah, here few quick bars, and I do hip hop because like that's just where my heart's at. But if you know the show, if you listen to all the shows, like it's all inclusive, and we talk and cover like everything across the whole gamut. So anyways, quick Brooklyn bars from Young M.A. Brooklyn, stand up.
Yo, what up? This is Young M.A. and I'm rocking with my homie Funk Flex on High 97.
You know what it is, Funk Flex. Young M.A.'s here. I mean, Brooklyn's here. You know what it is. It's what New York City sounds like.
Alright, Flex. Listen, they told me to do it, so I went and did it. I said, the queen of Brooklyn, nigga, let's get it. That's queen with a K, cause I'm a king too. It's Kings County, I'ma show you what this queen do. Listen, man, I don't do it for likes. 9 times out of 10, I do shit for a price. I told Cass, if I'ma do it, I'm doing it right. Let these little niggas know what I do with a mic. I got the crown like Heights. Oh yeah, I took this shit. We don't ask, we just take real Brooklyn shit. This beat is real raw, I had to cook this shit. Oh, this mine now, Cass, I had to book your shit. I'm top 10 and that's a Fendi fact. Any nigga wanna bet, I put my hundreds where your pennies at. Yeah, I'm pretty, but ain't shit pretty. I'm from the city where it's gritty at. That click, clack, give me that. And put the glizzy right there where your kidneys at. Well, that's a bust down AP, send me that. Can't flex in my city, no, they gon' envy that. Niggas hungry, they'll kill you for a 50 pack, real shit. Police chases, constant discrimination. Even the black cops is racist. No grass, just pavement. Everybody bang claiming that gang shit. Honestly, every hood is the same shit. Let's change routes. Different route, let's do it different. Instead of starting a gang, nigga, let's start a business. Either you gang or you gaining. That's not a hard decision. You can still be a star without the star position. Yeah, I'm winning cause my heart consistent. Stay indie, made a smart decision. Top notch is where my boss position. Trying to go head up with me, car collision. I can murder any of you rappers from start to finish. My drink devil, but I get high like God's position. When life threw me a rod, nigga, I started fishing. My palms started itching. Got that drive like when you start the engine. I'm a goat, but still I'm hardly mentioned. Fuck it, man, that's all they get. I'm over this shit, man.
You know what it is. Shout to Trilogy Music, Super. Something else?
Yeah, man, I owe you more, man.
Juanito, what you...
Give me something, man. Give me something. Let me see what I can put on. I see the hate, and I see a lot of love. Why they be so mad at you, ma? Shrugs. Is it cause you reelin'? Is it cause you kill shit? They all in they feelings? Shit, all the above. I don't know what they problem is. But anyway, baby, I could be your daddy if you don't know who your father is. We know who don't like us. We know who our target is. Keep on shitting on them like I don't know what a toilet is. Trophies in them offices. Graduated from the streets. I don't know what Harvard is. No diploma, no degrees. Put my chain on no degrees. Dropped the bag at the dealer, told him throw them keys. I had a long day, baby, on your knees. Put your face on it while I hold your weave. And baby, when we done, can you roll a weed? She said, this gorilla? I said, oh indeed, but I would leave a bitch if she crossed me like a rosary. Cause even when I wasn't rich, them hoes still noticed me. Used to be cold-hearted, found a girl as cold as me. I believe was done to me, not was ever told to me. Man, fuck rumors. How the fuck can y'all believe what's on computers? Losers, learn life, pick me as your tutor. Come here, let me school you. Here's a pencil in the school book. Nigga, fuck a rule book. I'm disobedient. I used to see the haters, but now I see comedians. Got rid of some niggas cause they was moving devious. Now I only move with the immediate. Got money, repeated it, etc., etc. You know what I mean and shit. I've been laying low lately. Yeah, I did some shows lately. Can't lie, shit been moving slow and like an old lady. But I ain't broke, baby. I just came to get my mind right. Get back on my bully when the time right. Get back in that limelight. Had to feed the streets like I just walked out of ShopRite. Falling back was not right. My apologies, I was in a time of need. I needed some privacy, I needed a prophecy. Couldn't let my mama see me at my lowest point. But I guess that's just the pride of me. Not to brag, but I be doing numbers like the lottery. If we speak in honesty, then honestly, who is hot as me? Logically, I'm still trying to see. And never get too comfortable, cause when you lit, that's the only time they gon' fuck with you. When that bag come, that's when they come to you. Trust me, this ain't nothing new. This is how the game is. You just gotta play it right. Remember, it's somebody out working while you lay at night.
You know what it is, Young M.A. Funk Flex. Brooklyn is in here heavy.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we can move on comfortably. By we, I mean me. So, 30 years ago, a 23-year-old Franco Stevens launched a revolutionary new lesbian magazine, The Nuve, which is now called Curve. And it's actually still the best-selling lesbian magazine in the world today. And now there's a new documentary called Ahead of the Curve, which is telling the story of the woman behind it, Franco Stevens. And it is the first project of new production company, Frankly Speaking Films, which is run by Rivka Beth Meadow and Jane Rainin, who is Franco Stevens' wife. Check out the trailer here.
Please welcome our panel of Power Dykes, Francis Stevens, publisher and editor-in-chief of The Nuve, the hottest lesbian magazine.
The Nuve, the leading lesbian magazine.
There wasn't a glossy magazine for lesbians anywhere.
She decided, I'm gonna make one. That's total rock and roll.
I love my job. I love my job. I love my job.
Whoever was in Curve, like that was it. That's how you knew what was going on.
Like the latest musicians,
in terms of like
the latest
lesbian
artists.
Yeah.
I think it's only in hindsight that I can fully appreciate what Franco had to sacrifice.
It was very hard to be out and open in the late 80s.
I think we should do away with gays if possible.
A lot of people lived in fear.
Once I had a guy spit in my face.
We did not see ourselves represented in any positive mainstream way.
There was nothing that showed what my life was all about. I was the one that was supposed to start this magazine.
She got the idea and then she's just like, oh my God, I need money.
So I just applied for a bunch of credit cards all on the same day. I just cashed them all in.
And there they come.
I'm going to bet an exacta with 2 long shots, and my horses came in first and second. At the end of the day, I had enough money to start the magazine.
Do you know what the difference is between parsley and pussy?
What, Franco?
I don't know. I don't eat parsley.
Where can I find a woman like that?
When the magazine put me on the cover, it allowed women in our own community to see a well-spoken, funny, intelligent, charming, gentlemanly butch, which is basically who I am unless you cross my fucking path.
For the first time, we could see Black lesbians, Asian, working class women.
Just the power of seeing me.
In the last 24 hours, I heard this thing that I never wanted to hear, that the magazine could be coming to an end.
As we became more visible, we also became a target.
We live in a systemic, racist, sexist, anti-LGBTQ world, and we have to fight it every day.
Dear straight people, why do I have to prove my love is authentic?
Visibility looks like us being able to be the authors of our own experience.
When there is so much at stake, our positive stories are some of the most powerful tools we have.
Every time we put out a magazine, it felt groundbreaking. Like the work was so important, and the work is not done.
Sounds pretty dope. Or it looks pretty dope too if you're watching this on YouTube. Yes, check out our new YouTube channel. Of course, Sapphic World. So anyway, fashion designer Sheila Rashid, based out of Chicago, was featured in Vogue, in print. Yes, the issue with MVP Kamala Harris on the cover, which I think is like fucking fantastic. Yo, that's like great. Really, it's phenomenal. Sheila is from Chicago, like I said, and we're in Chicago, and so we've seen her rise from very humble beginnings, and so it's really great to see a fellow Sappho and a fellow Chicagoan reach such heights. If you're not familiar with Sheila Rashid, check out her work and her page from our Instagram page. We posted about it, so you can connect with her from there. I think she's Sheila the designer on Instagram, and I make clothes on Twitter or something. But anyway, like I said, follow us and you can connect with her there. So congratulations, Sheila. Shout out, Sheila. Keep doing big things. Let's see. Singer Phoebe Bridgers was just on the cover of Nylon magazine, sporting a bright orange head of hair. Looked pretty dope. And King Princess is on the current cover of Lady Gun magazine. Boom. Representation definitely matters. Speaking of King Princess, she has I think she was by she, but just in case, they have a damn, did I just do that? That's the first time I ever took a drink on air of anything. But anyway, so sorry, I had to whip my palate. But here is a video from King Princess. Came out last month, called Pain. Check it out. Fuck. So teenage sensation Jojo from Dance Moms said that she got swatted shortly after coming out on Instagram over the weekend when dozens of armed police officers showed up at her house and demanded that everyone get out. Like I said, she came out in an IG video post, and shortly thereafter someone called the police and basically said something was going on at her house, right? And in the IG video, she says, quote, "We went outside, hands up, because you have to obviously follow the rules." And then the police were saying that somebody had called and made a claim, end quote. And in case you're not sure, swatting is when someone calls the police and claims that a crime is being committed at someone else's home with the intentions of getting armed police to show up, harass, and just wreak havoc in general. In the video, Jojo put the blame on a member of the paparazzi because apparently they wanted her to leave her house so that they could take pictures of her. She says, quote, and then the police were saying that somebody had called and made a claim, and then all of a sudden paparazzi came from around the corner. I think because I recently came out to the internet, the media is obviously very excited, which I love, and I love the support. However, you could have just hung outside my house and I would have eventually come outside, end quote. That's there's a real story, I guess, with swatting, where someone did that over a game. They were mad over a game, a bet or something, I don't even know. And so online gaming, and anyway, called the police, pretended to be someone else, called the police on someone and had them show up at their home. It acted like this person literally had their family tied up and it's hostages and killed someone already or something. So the police come swarming to the house, the kid comes out on the porch what's going on, and they shoot and kill him. You know what I mean? So people just doing too fucking much, seriously. For a picture, yo, if it's true that the paparazzi, seriously, she said, you would have seen her, chill, yo, that's ridiculous. Politics. Okay, there's and there's a lot going on. I'm not gonna try to get too deep in a whole lot of stuff, but there are some things I definitely think are worth noting, mentioning, and discussing. So first of all, as we all know, Biden is officially sworn in. He is now our president of the United States, the current sitting president of the United States, and he took office a day after our last episode aired, so you didn't hear me, speak on it. But what I did speak on was what I felt he needed to do as soon as he got into office. So here's a quick refresher from 2 episodes ago. I don't know, what happens after that. It's like he's been in there waving a pen like a magic wand, like these executive orders and issuing final rules and whatnot, that I'm like, Biden, I better see that pen. That pen better be fucking working. I mean, you better stroke. Gee, boy, I'm telling you, he better be in there stroking that pen. I want executive orders all day and night. Every day I want to wake up and I'm about to set a Google alert for Biden executive orders. And that shit better be pinging I better wake up to a list of shit every morning. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Cause Trump made it seem it's so easy to just do whatever the fuck he wanted. It's I just don't understand why this president is able to do so many things that other presidents are always like, I couldn't get it done. I was trying, but Congress was in the way. How the fuck? Okay, so just saying. But so on his first day in office, Biden did sign 17 executive orders. So let's give a round of applause to President Joe Biden for that. The orders range from immigration rights to environmental protections. The Equality Act, for me, is of the utmost importance, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like it will happen in the first 100 days as originally promised. But it does seem to be a priority, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But Biden also promised to end the ban on transgender military personnel his first day in office, but that was slightly delayed by 5 days while Lloyd Austin was being approved as the defense secretary. But once he was approved on his first day, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin threw out the ban on transgender military personnel, which was one of President Trump's worst policies, according to many. The White House said in an email statement, according to lgbtqnation.com, that, quote, President Biden believes that gender identity should not be a bar to military service and that America's strength is found in its diversity, end quote. The quote was actually a little longer, but yeah. So anyway, Trump announced that ban via Twitter in 2017. Also among the executive orders Biden has signed on his first day was a letter to re-enter the United States into the Paris Climate Accords, which it officially will rejoin 30 days from the signing of that. In 2019, Trump formally notified the United Nations that the United States was going to withdraw from the coalition of nearly 200 countries that were working to move away from planet-warming fossil fuels, such as, oil, coal, and natural gases. But that was for either for his or his cronies' business interest, willing and dealing. I'm telling y'all, Trump was trapping from the White House. Anyway, Biden will also end the Trump administration's 1776 commission, which released a report on Monday that historians said distorted the role of slavery in the United States among other history. Which I do not doubt. They do not want you to know the truth of the horrific. Never mind. Anyway, President Biden also reversed Trump's executive order limiting the ability of federal agencies, contractors, and other institutions to hold diversity and inclusion training. In our last episodes, I also mentioned how Trump was doing all that he could on his way out to make the lives of LGBTQ Americans as difficult as possible. And before leaving office, Donald Trump appointee, Attorney General Bill Barr, directed employees to not apply the protections afforded to LGBTQ people under the Supreme Court ruling Bostick versus Clayton County, which was ruled upon in June last year, 2020. And the Biden administration has since reversed that, which is great because, how are you going to go against the Supreme Court ruling. In Bostic versus Clayton County, the Supreme Court ruled that job discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity was banned under the, quote, because of sex, end quote, anti-discrimination rules in the Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So basically, Biden's order tells the heads of all executive agencies to, quote, review all existing orders, regulations, guidance, documents, policies, programs, or other agency actions in order to ensure that they are interpreting bans on sex discrimination in federal law to also ban discrimination, prohibit discrimination on the basis of gender identity or sexual orientation. The order also mentions Black transgender people specifically. Transgender Black Americans face unconscionably high levels of workplace discrimination, homelessness, and violence, including fatal violence. It said it is the policy. The order says it is the policy of my administration to address overlapping forms of discrimination. On his as I mentioned, on his first day in office, he signed those 17 executive orders, and among those was like regaining rights for LGBTQ people, and naturally anti-LGBTQ activists, both conservative Christians and anti-transgender, quote, feminist activists, also known as TERFs, T-E-R-F, are extremely mad about it, right? Tony Perkins of an SBLC designated hate group called Family Research Council says, quote, ultimately, if this executive order is able to be fully carried out, it will affect everyday Americans who hold biblical and conservative values, end quote. I don't understand how giving rights to people affects biblical values. Conservative values, sure. Biblical values, no. Biden's executive order instructs executive agencies that the Biden administration considers discrimination against LGBTQ people to already be banned under federal laws that ban discrimination because of sex, and to look for ways to implement federal law in light of that. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of this interpretation. Like I said, in Bostic versus Clayton Powell, like the decision last year, Clayton County, sorry, Clayton Powell, I don't know. And I'm like, the Trump administration obviously fought against implementing it, which I don't get. And the Biden administration is already getting hate from the anti-LGBTQ activists, because of it. But it's law. Just like if it was reversed or ruled in the reverse, we'd have to go with that, right? So, I mean, I don't know. That Perkins guy, though, Tony Perkins, and no relation to me, but he says quote, the Biden administration is planning to go much further in its assault on biblical reality and is expected to order schools to abolish girls' sports and force boys and girls to use the same showers and locker rooms and maybe even bunk together on school trips. The world's major religions will be forced to violate their consciences as a result of Biden's order. Okay, so none of that's true, though. Like, I really hate this debate, Like, on Twitter, the hashtag Biden erased women is trending, right? TERFs, like I said, are transgender exclusionary radical feminists, are saying that the executive order to ban discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity somehow means that women don't exist anymore, which I do not get. Like, I don't understand how a trans woman invalidates me or somehow as a woman. Like, what does that have to do with me? You know what I mean? Like, just like when men act like, when you're a lesbian, or if you're a masculine presenting lesbian, or, quote, a dyke, which, one of my favorite words, but like that you are emasculating. You know what I mean? I always hated that. Cause like, what the fuck do I have to do with how you feel about you or who you are or what you project as a human being. Don't put that on me. You know what I mean? And I feel the same way with this. Like, okay, so there are men who feel that they are women and they transition and then they become women. And again, has nothing to do with me as a woman. I don't know why that's such a touchy topic for some like radical feminists. And feminist doesn't mean gay, you know, it means like feminists are just women, so they could be heterosexual or bisexual or or lesbian. So and their points are valid, I'm sure, but I'm just saying, like, I just don't know that we should be harping on it in that sense. And the fact, like, I agree in certain things about like the biological reality. If you listen to our last episode with Catherine Sterling, the boxing Olympic hopeful, going to represent Haiti, hopefully in the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, we spoke about trans people in sport and particularly in boxing, and I think we have to look at some things objectively, like as to like what it is, right? And that's combat, and that's kind of like what she was saying in a nutshell. But my point is that I don't know. My point is that I hate this debate. I really do, because I don't want to infringe on people's rights. And it's like, who am I to tell you who you are, who you're not? But then there are some, like they said, biological realities, just certain things. But like, should it be law? Because then that, like, you add certain things in law that take rights away from people, that has like long-standing effects. And I really don't know how to feel about that. Anyway, I'm moving on. Okay, so around the world, let's see what's happening around the world and some headline news. Okay, so I'm only mentioning this next story to make a point or two, right? So the Cadbury Egg Company released a commercial in the UK of people eating the chocolate egg, right, in various ways. In the commercial appears a gay male couple passing it in their mouths in sort of like a kiss or something, right? And it appears for all of 6 seconds. And then pops up an evangelical group, right, called like 100 Moms or whatever they're called. It starts a huge tirade on the internet and like via email blast, getting their followers and supporters in a frenzy literally for nothing. The commercial isn't even airing in the States here, where the group is based and lives. And its supporters wouldn't even have seen the commercial if it weren't for them sending out the link, right? You know what I mean? It's like, you're drawing attention to something, like you're just looking for a fight. Like, always. Stop. Anyway, so they claim that Christians who enjoy the yearly sugary confection should be upset, quote, how the company celebrates the risen Savior, end quote. Now, here's my first point. Easter eggs are a leftover symbol of spring from the original pagan holidays that Easter replaced on your calendar. They have zero to do with the crucifixion, which Jesus survived, by the way. Okay? But zero to do with it. But this just goes to show how they use this hatred to spur more hatred and to push agendas. It has nothing to do with religion. I love God. But this is not okay. Like I said, it has nothing to do with religion and everything to do with hate, control, and conditioning. And attention. Some of these folks just need a platform, and this LGBTQ rights and our very existence and our right to exist is the perfect soapbox for them. The couple in the ad is a real life couple, and one of them said, quote, I'm super happy that this has all happened. The love we have received totally outweighs the fear-based negative comments. Makes me proud to live in the UK and to have so much love in my life, end quote. But then he goes on to write, quote, and let's be honest, I'm sure there would be half as many complaints if it was two beautiful, cisgendered, hetero-looking Caucasian women. I'm not homophobic, but nah, mate. You're dumb and homophobic. At least admit it. End quote. And that's my second point. there may be some truth to that, like he put beautiful like in like air quotes, like to as saying like whatever you claim beautiful is, as in cisgendered Caucasian women. But there's some truth to that, right, from a societal standpoint. And also just like being okay with 2 women versus 2 men, there's also some truth to that from a societal standpoint, which is probably steeped in religious bias and gender role stereotypes, etc., etc., etc. In fact, I know some people have double standards when it comes to gay men versus women, but when the religious zealots use religion, they are not picking who to hate. They hate all of us, or at least us for being us. AOC?
The only time religious freedom is invoked is in the name of bigotry and discrimination. I'm tired of it.
So moving on to over to Zimbabwe, or Ireland, actually, kind of a little mixture of the two. I'm kind of paraphrasing this story from Yahoo News out of the UK News. This was written by Patrick Kelleher. So basically, though, the story is about a woman from Zimbabwe who she is fleeing. She's like forced to flee Zimbabwe. It's a lesbian. She says that in Zimbabwe, she was forced into 2 separate marriages as a child, one at the age of 9 and then again at the age of 13. She claims she was forced to flee her home country after her family found out that she was a lesbian, which led to, threats of violence, basically. So subsequently, she brought a judicial review proceedings in effort to have a 2019 International Protection Officer recommendation overturned. Basically, the recommendation from April 2019 was that she be denied asylum. Basically, they argued that her claim lacked credibility. Right? So she was fighting that because obviously she wants it overturned. But Justice Tara Burns denied her request on Friday, the 22nd of January, according to the Irish Times report. So I guess she was fleeing Zimbabwe, going to Ireland, probably seeking, asylum. And they recommended that it be denied. And she fought it, and the justice there, Tara Burns, basically denied her request and upheld the denial. In her appeal, though, and her name is not named, obviously, for her protection, but the Zimbabwean woman argued that her sexuality was a core element of her asylum claim, and that the International Protection Officer failed to determine her sexuality when it recommended that she be denied asylum. Before making a recommendation on her asylum claim, the IPO, which is the International Protection Officer, asked her questions about her sexuality and found that she was not aware of any LGBT plus support groups in either Ireland or Zimbabwe. So basically, they used her responses to those questions about sexuality and other information in reaching a recommendation that she should be denied asylum in Ireland. So because she did not know some support groups in Zimbabwe or Ireland for LGBTQ plus people, she was denied asylum. Wow. They say she can appeal the matter at the International Protection Appeals Tribunal. That's what the judge told her. Wow. This case comes, it says, just months after a bisexual healthcare worker who fled anti-LGBT plus discrimination in Zimbabwe had her application for asylum in Ireland rejected because she doesn't, quote, seem bisexual. That's what I was thinking. Like, how are you going to determine someone's, like, I mean, I guess you could lie and say, hey, I'm a lesbian, and you're not, right? But, like, oh, my God, to be like, yeah, you don't seem like it to me. So, I don't know. The whole thing is, like, obviously they probably are facing sort of things there that should be able to be documented that are making them feel they need to leave. I don't know. Anyway, but apparently the ruling sparked international backlash because with the healthcare worker and another queer Zimbabwean woman speaking on the condition of anonymity to CNN about their experiences seeking asylum in Ireland. Ireland has faced, it says, stinging criticism for its treatment of asylum seekers. And the LGBTQ rights in Zimbabwe are far, far behind other countries, with gay sex still illegal, while same-sex marriage is also still banned from their constitution. Other queer Zimbabweans have like literally no legal protection from discrimination, violence, harassment, and are often forced to remain closeted to protect their safety. Ireland has repeatedly faced criticism from international human rights bodies for its treatment of asylum workers.
My name is Kumbuzo Kumalo and I'm 24 years old. I'm originally from Zimbabwe and I live in Glasgow now. Growing up in Zimbabwe was fantastic. With every kid on the street playing together, the sun is out. I realized at a very young age about my sexuality, but I kind of brushed it away because I thought it was just a phase. I just thought it was going to go away. I was worried about telling people that I'm LGBT. Telling someone else might cause or might attract a lot of problems in your life. There was a point where a gang of men were chasing me down the street. There was also an incident where I really got bashed. They beat me up. And with that, you cannot go to the hospital. Mainly because when you go to the hospital, you need a police statement on what happened to you. As an LGBT, you can't do that because it's illegal to be gay. So they beat you up, you grip your teeth, suck it up and go to bed. I left Zimbabwe because of the torture I was facing. Everywhere I used to go, I used to be tortured, I used to be called names, which literally also felt like I've been ripped off my dignity, my respect, my self-respect, my self-esteem, my confidence was all taken away from me. So I couldn't live like that anymore. That's why I decided to come here to the UK. Refugee means to me safety, security, more comfort. Also being able to work for myself, pursuing my education, going to uni and all that stuff. To be able to stay in the UK or to have refugee status, you have to go through an asylum process where you go through different channels, you have interviews, and the immigration or the Home Office decide on your case whether it's legit or not. I found myself homeless at some point, so I had to go to the police station, and they took me to a detention center where I was supposed to be removed from the United Kingdom and taken back to Zimbabwe. That brought back everything. At some point I thought of suicide, because me just ending my own life is much better than people back home ending my life. That's when I had my first interview or screening interview. And after that, they released me from the detention centers and brought me here in Glasgow, where I had another interview, which was 5 hours long. Clearly, just by looking at you, they will not judge you that you are gay or straight. So they left me in a position where I had to produce intimate photos, which is not very comfortable to me to give to someone. It's my privacy. He asked me, can I not go back home, live in another city and hide that I'm gay? That was really confusing, and if I could ask anyone, can you hide the fact that you love a certain person? Which is ridiculous. What I'd like to see change from my personal experience is not to detain people, because detention is the worst place ever to be in. Nobody wants to leave their country. So basically, I would really want them to empathize and sympathize. In particular, LGBT is really not a minor thing, mainly because people don't report it. Because if we report it, we get arrested. When I found out that I had my refugee status, that was so much of a relief to me. I felt settled because I couldn't imagine my life in Zimbabwe. I was happy, I was excited, I was relieved. The future is bright. I can no longer worry. I'm feeling so much safer. I feel secure. The future is bright. Visions don't blurry anymore. I'm not at limbo like I was before, where I didn't know which position I'm in, going back or, being granted my status. The weight of the world on my shoulder, that's what I felt I had. The load of everything that I've been through, it kind of like went away in an instant when they told me that I have my refugee status. I plan on going to school. I'm planning on going to uni, study and working for myself, earn good money and hopefully a family one day.
Well, so let's see. Boom, Canada. So a Canadian Dairy Queen. I didn't know Dairy Queen was in Canada. I don't know why that seems surprising or that couldn't be possible, but I just never pictured it. Like, it just seems like a USA only type of place, Anyway, but so a Canadian Dairy Queen franchise owner is apologizing to a lesbian customer now, Summer Gibbons, after his store turned away a request for a personalized birthday cake. So Summer Gibbons was told that the store is a, quote, family establishment, end quote, as a reason for being turned away. So basically her and her sister ordered a cake, an ice cream cake with the words "Happy Birthday, Lesbian" on it. And the employee, accepted the order, and then the manager stepped in and declined to do the cake. Gibbons told Global News that, quote, her supervisor told her it was a family establishment and that they can't put that on a cake for other families to see, end quote. Like, what? Anyway, so when she followed up with the what Morrison, the owner manager guy, she says he wasn't really any help at first, and he said that quote, or she says that he said, quote, the policy said it's policy because it was sexual in nature to put it on the cake. I've known I was gay since grade 7 and came out 2 years ago, and it's definitely something I was always worried about happening, having that feeling of not being of not being welcomed for being who I am, and that not being okay, end quote. That's what Gibbons said. But then the manager guy, the owner, Morrison, he says after thinking about his decision, and listening to his employees, he concluded that they were wrong for denying the cake. And he says, quote, "Our intent is to create custom cakes that are inclusive and non-discriminatory, which is why we have a policy that custom cake orders can only include inclusive and non-discriminatory language. After talking with fans and employees, I acknowledge we did not properly follow our policy," end quote. Gibbons was, she says, quote, he says he's wrong. We're all humans and make mistakes. I respect his apology. In the end, she got her cake made by another Dairy Queen who fulfilled it with no problems. Anyway, moving on, New York City. So in New York City, recently announced that it was officially recognizing businesses owned by LGBTQ plus people as part of their minority and women-owned business enterprise programs. That is fucking great. That is phenomenal, because I think as a business person, I think it's good when you are openly gay or you are openly, who you are in any letter of the LGBTQ rainbow, and or your business, caters specifically to that, you do face, discrimination and other, barriers to entry of sorts that you may face as a woman or as a minority. And so I think that's a great decision to include that. It says the decision will allow LGBTQ business owners of all sizes to access billions of dollars in city contracts, contract procurements, and opportunities, in addition to accessing priceless resources for historically disadvantaged enterprises in the Big Apple. The agreement was struck between the New York City Department of Small Business Services and the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce. And it will allow the National Chamber of Commerce certified business operators to receive official recognition for their minority and women-owned business enterprise. The partnership will allow for NYC to fast-track applications to certify LGBTQ-owned businesses and get them assistance as the country enters the second year of the coronavirus pandemic. So New York business owners, LGBTQ business owners in New York, if you're listening, look into this, right? Get the money. Any assistance available to you, apply, get it, okay? Do what you need to do. This is for us, all right? So let's see. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, listen to this. So Dr. Fauci recently was on Rachel Maddow's show. He said, it's no surprise, right, to hear this, because he says that the Trump administration was blocking him from going on fellow staffer Rachel Maddow's show. However, now that Biden's in office, what's one of the first things Fauci does? He goes on Rachel Maddow's show. Here's what he had to say about it.
Dr. Fauci, should we expect to hear from you and from Dr. Messonnier and Dr. Shukit and other senior scientists and senior supervisors of these agencies and on a regular basis? I know that, as we've been talking about, the country really trusts you in particular, but we've seen the sort of disappearance and sort of muzzling of some of these other senior folks within the government. Do you think that we'll have more access to you, both the press and the public?
I'm positive of it. Test assess, Rachel. I've been wanting to come on your show for months and months. You've been asking me to come on your show for months and months, and it's just gotten blocked. Let's call it what it is. It just got blocked because they didn't like the way you handle things, and they didn't want me on there. I mean, it was so clear when we sent it down. Why would you want to go on Rachel Maddow's show? Well, because I like her and she's really good. It doesn't make any difference. Don't do it. I don't think you're going to see that now. I think you're going to see a lot of transparency. You might not see everybody as often as you want, but you're not going to see deliberate holding back of good people when the press asks for them. I mean, we were assured that that's the case. And that goes along with what you were mentioning before about different types of pressures that are put on. It was a tough situation. It really was.
Fauci's funny. Anyway, so moving on, we're heading over to Montana. So in our last episode, right, with guest bisexual Olympic boxing hopeful Catherine Sterling, we discussed the touchy topic of transgendered persons in sport, right? And just a few days after, Montana advances a bill to ban transgender girls from competing in school sports. Montana legislators have advanced a bill to ban transgender girls from school sports through the state's House Judiciary Committee. The proposed legislation would require that elementary, high school, college, and private schools that compete against a public school all reject the student athletes. And then a few days after that, the Montana House passed the bills. Like, first they were just introduced, right? After a couple days after our episode aired, these bills were introduced. And then a couple days after that, the bills were passed, 2 different bills, and they restrict the rights of transgendered youth. And the ACLU is literally already promising to sue the state. And, I don't know that, like, as these bills are getting sent to the Senate, because they passed the House, so they got to go through the Senate, right? But House Bills 112 and 113 would ban student athletes from participating in sports as their gender and prevent minors from receiving health care related to gender transition, respectively. House Bill 112 passed with a 62-38 vote. Wow. And House Bill 113 passed with a closer margin of 53-47 after a debate yesterday where the bill's proponents repeatedly referred to transgender girls and women as, quote, males. I get why so many were in favor of 112. Because when even if you're transitioning, even if we say, okay, yes, you're a woman, right? Like, your body is still, like, we can't deny the biological composition of your makeup. And when in sport, usually you try to make things as even a playing field as possible for the best competitive performance to occur, right? And so that's why things are divided by gender or sex, right? And not all sports necessarily need to be that. Some sports can be co-ed, I'm sure. And, anyway, I'm just saying I get why House Bill 112 passed with such a large margin, but the smaller margin comes from the House Bill 113 out of Montana about restricting the health care that transgender youth can receive. And that's a sticky topic too. Like, this whole debate, I really hate it all, I really hate it all. But anyway, so when it comes to House Bill 112, the sports bill, state Republicans claimed that allowing transgender youth to compete as their gender would make it impossible for cisgender girls and women to compete in school sports, even though many states already allow transgender youth to compete as their gender, and cisgender girls and women are able to compete and win, just fine. So I don't know, there's obviously evidence to show that, hey, there's no problem, and then probably evidence to show that there is. But according to the ACLU attorney Chase Strangio, one of the bill's proponents even argued that cisgender boys and men will lie and say that they are transgender girls and women in order to beat cisgender girls and women at sports. Now, I don't know. Strangio, he tweeted, like, in all caps, "Who would ever do that?" End quote. Clearly frustrated by the state legislators' ignorance on transgender people, because clearly transgender people is a real thing, right? And so it's kind of like insulting to say that, but at the same time, people do dumb shit. I'm not saying it would happen. I'm not even saying that that's something that, if it did happen, would happen often. I don't know. I'm just saying we can't discount people doing dumb shit. Not saying that is a reason to ban or have these bills passed, but just saying I don't know that that's a valid argument. Anyway, House Bill 112, the sports bill, flies in the face of Biden administration's interpretation of Title 9 of the Education Amendments of 1972, which bans discrimination, quote, based on sex for schools that receive federal funds, which is actually most schools. And like I said earlier, last week, Joe Biden signed an executive order telling executive agencies to interpret bans on discrimination based on sex as including bans on anti-LGBTQ discrimination, in line with the Supreme Court's ruling in the historic Bostick versus Clayton County case last year, June 2020. Biden's order says, quote, "Children should be able to learn without worry about whether they will be denied access to the restroom, the locker room, or school sports," end quote. The ACLU of Montana is, like I said, already threatening lawsuit, and it possibly will be in response to violations of Title IX. The ACL says that Montana could lose up to $484 million in federal education dollars if it passes House Bill 112. The funding will harm a lot of students. Interesting. So this is interesting. Like, Because based on the ruling in Bostic versus Clayton County, right, you cannot discriminate on the basis of sex, i.e. gender, that these schools now wouldn't be able to get federal funding because if they pass these bills, that they are now in violation of that court ruling by discriminating on the basis of gender, and therefore disallowed from or disqualified from receiving the federal funds, which obviously hurts all the students when the schools are underfunded. That's why I say I hate this debate, right? It's crazy. There's so many parts to it, so many moving parts, and one part affects another drastically. We're talking about taking rights from people. We're talking about unleveling playing fields possibly. We're talking about like disenfranchising people that disenfranchises other people. And I don't know. But like several other states are considering anti-transgender legislation this year as well, including South Dakota, which debated and rejected a bill to make it harder for transgender people to correct the gender marker on their birth certificates, which they literally just did like a couple days ago. North Dakota is also considering a bill to ban transgender girls and women from participating in school sports as their actual gender, and Iowa and Texas are considering bans on gender-affirming healthcare for transgender youth. The healthcare thing too is like another thing, because like, are they saying because it's healthcare you wouldn't need otherwise? Like it's not a sickness, it's not like that, it's cosmetic almost, right, in nature. Like should taxpayer dollars be used for cosmetic surgeries, right? Someone wants a breast implant, a facelift, whatever, right? They can't necessarily use them for that. And so are they seeing this as the same thing? And I'm not saying that it is cosmetic surgery. I'm just saying that I feel like that's probably their argument. I don't know. But at the federal level, U.S. Representative Greg Stubble, Republican of Florida, introduced a bill this year that would require state and local school athletics governing bodies to keep anyone assigned male at birth out of women's sports. His bill would define sex as, quote, based solely on a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth, end quote. Again, like I said, it's so hard because I'm on both sides, and it's like hard to do. I just need, it's like something you have to like think through or whatever, right? Wow, it's just a lot. Like it's just a lot. The ACL says that claiming that being assigned male at birth makes one constrained to the category of man and the so-called biology of maleness for their entire lives is tantamount to erasing the embodied and lived experience of trans people. A woman who is trans is a woman. And all the science we have demonstrates that not affirming trans and gender expansive kids and who they are results in catastrophic mental health consequences, including devastating rates of suicide. End quote. I really do hate this debate. It's so hard. Well, that concludes episode 22. Connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at Sapphic_world. Support our sponsor at Dress Dyke and visit them online at dressdyke.com. Join Sapphic.world for free today for discounts and other perks. Oh, and check out our new YouTube channel, Sapphic World, of course. Subscribe, like, share, all that goodness. We really appreciate your support. Thanks for listening. And as always, love yourself and others. Until next time.